How bad is it?
I do not have one.
So Kasmul is doing that. What are we doing? What are you doing? May feel like millennials and Gen Zs actually can win an election.
Yes,
They can.
18 million people.
Amazing viewers, welcome back to the Politrix Podcast, episode 2. Niko na Alvin, Ruth, and Adrian. Ndapea tu 1 minute labda wasalimia wase.
Yeah, so my name is Adrian Koloba, medical student, year 4 from Moi University. I love politics, you know, the aspects, the different aspects of it, how it interacts with, you know, our daily lives and so on. Yeah, and I'm happy to be here. Isaac.
Karibu kawa. Yes.
My name is Alvin Kiprop. I'm a 4th year medical student from Moi University also. I'd say my interests are majorly in economics and how that affects people's lives and how politics affects economics, how politics affects health. Because I think that's a major part of our lives. So yeah, happy to be here.
Karibu.
My name is Ruth Mwangi, a 4th year medical student from Moi University. I am passionate about feminism and activism, and I love things about the community and how to bring us together. Yes, thank you.
Yes. So leo tuko na the 3 medical students all the way from Eldoret, and nataka tu tupige story tujue what we do at Politrix is we try to just diffuse the political tension. We try and see the political network inaenda wapi, tujue in the layman's term, like how does politics affect our everyday life, how does it affect our careers, and that's even the more why I like it since mko campus. Again, soon you'll be practicing and naona strike tu kila mahali kila time mnashinda mmetuambia strike. So hatujui wagonjwa sasa tukiwagonjwa itakuwaje. So I think we just want to just dwell on that. Najua mimi najua ile sasa hivi siasa iko. Sasa tumekuwa na inaitwa handshake ama inaitwa broad based. Lakini tena naona inaitwa bread based. I think bread based ni juu wanagawa shares. Wase wanagawa shares, mlisikia Wanyora akisema shares zake hajapata, so ameenda hiyo drama hadi ameenda home. True. Tena sasa hii ulisikia tena akisoma hiyo dozi yake akisema vile kila mtu in this government alikuwa ameenda pale juu ya shares. Nasikia Kingi mazee alienda tu na jina yake. But then we have I think Fort Kenya come from Bungoma, Adrian
Stronghold.
Yes, so huko pia nasikia Fort Kenya pia walikuwa wameenda hapo wakachukua yao. Sasa pia sisi mimi come from Kisumu. Pia sisi tumeingia kidogo tuchukue kidogo. Watu wamejam. Wengine wamefurahia. Lakini I think to me naweza sema mimi nataka mniambie like what is the implication of that? Inatupeleka wapi? Kwanza Adrian wewe unajua for Kenya nasikia unajua the last years wa health alikuwa anaitwa Nakumicha
Suzana.
So Nakumicha ni wa for Kenya kulingana vile mashares. Yes. Sasa tena tuko na who is the current Debra. Na tukienda na hiyo tu notion ya mkato ya shares mkataba definitely bado ni wa Kenya. Yes. So wewe mimi najua Kenya bado sasa sisi tunasema we are not tribal but there's still an aspect of tribalism.
Yes.
Na ni vizuri wewe ni Bungoma, LD and Murang'a, right?
Yeah.
So sitaki kusema tuko tribal but in that perspective of unatoka home Nakumicha ni wenyu. Yes. Alikuwa wenyu, the current CS ni wenyu. Kwa hivyo unafaa kusupport for Kenya automatically. vile siasa ya Kenya iko.
Yes.
Automatically sisi una support for Kenya lakini automatically tu. So of course utajisemea lakini mimi nataka kujua in that particular scenario lazima usupport for Kenya. CS ni wenyu lakini tena wewe ni medic. You understand?
Yeah.
So it means now when you start practicing zile issues on our face, irrespective of kama wewe ni Mluya, irrespective of kama wewe ni wa Bungoma, utaziface same as Rutia.
Yeah.
So in that perspective hebu niambie unaweza semaje je hiyo story?
So the story sharing government in proportions is old in our history hapa, because what used to happen during colonial times, there were these sub-tribes, different. So for example, the Kalenjin C1 tribe, they are different. Kuna the Keyos, the Tugans, the Marakwet, the Nandis, even Luyas, yeah? Kuna Wabukusu, kuna Wateso, Wamarama and so on. So many. So close to independence, these tribes, they had to come together in order for them to have a voice at the national level in order to request resources ifike their levels.
Ini kama which year?
So just post-independence, around independence time.
Okay.
Yeah. For example, the Kalenjin were recognized as a tribe really in like 79, close to 80s. Yeah. So it was useful for them to come together. Sisi ni Waluya, which means the people of the fire, so that they can have a voice ya kuitisha resources at the national level. But now dynamics change. As you've said, unasema mtu anatoka Bungoma. Ford Kenya is the stronghold huko.
Yes.
But then you have other interests. Yeah, Kenya is driven mostly by capitalism. We don't think really. I think tribe is secondary even to capitalism. So what I feel is that the idea ya come together, it had a place early on in independence where things were very primitive and so on. But now when the world may evolve, the world has evolved to a place where a lot of, for example, Nairobi is a cosmopolitan place where there are so many people. So, for example, the governor here determines very closely the quality of life, maybe even more than your president. So, the quality of the leaders you elect, even at this, the county level, MP level, MCA level, they have a more they have a more direct impact on how, of course, the macroeconomic environment is important, the way the president is, economic policies and implement. But it's very important, the leaders you choose from that level going up, because it's not more about tribe, because I'm seeing a lot of the places, of course, majority of Kenya bado dominated by a single tribe regionally, but we are getting more cosmopolitan, and we are getting cities and towns where many people are living, Masai, Kisii, Kalenjins in some places. So, yeah.
Okay. Na kuna kitu moja tu nikaa hujajibu. Those, I don't want to put you on the spot hapo. But sasa wewe, as a lawyer from Bungoma, under our current time, sahi kuna watu wamegawana shares pale. First of all, maybe what your political, which maybe side you support. Of course, kuna so many sides in yes currently. So sijui kama una support hiyo na assume ama not, you utaniambia. But as a medic sasa, assuming going by tribal lines vile watu vote na vile watu reason, assuming in your force, sasa tuseme tuchukue hiyo mind yako vile iko tuweke ile natural ile tunataka tukue nayo. Mluya, for Kenya from Bungoma, you're a medic. The CS amekuwa pale na shares za Ford Kenya.
Yes.
Uko na some issues as a medic. Ama people in a profession wako na issues like that. Hebu niambie tu about that. How does it feel as a medic? How look at it as a medic?
Yeah, if you look at the CSs that have been there, Nakumicha, the problem we've really been seeing in the medical field is that there is no goodwill from the top. So you're having a kind of puppet that is put in the CS position. But the guys who are running the show are, the head of the public service and so on, who are now telling them what you need to do. If they want to switch from NHIF to SHIF, it's done.
By them, they decide.
So I'm seeing this effete people that are being put in that post, just as mere flower girls, if I can call them that. Because we are seeing Nakumicha, we had you know the famous song yeah Sauti Sol Susanna.
Yeah.
I hope you're happy now. Tulikuwa tunaimba hiyo wimbo kwa maandamano reference to Nakumicha, because Medix felt that it was she went on TV. One of her earliest interviews she did with Media House was JKL, and she went and was saying that Kenya is the only country where interns wanalipo more than doctors. So kulikuwa na this perception in the medical world that she didn't have goodwill to begin with. So from my perspective, yes, Ford Kenya is very dominant in Luhyaland. Now, for a number of reasons. First of all, Papa Roma, that's the way they call him, amekuwa in politics for so long.
Nasikia nakimbizwa na natembea huko sana.
Yeah, natembea is even when I went last December, a lot of people, like young people, are talking about his movement. They feel he's more anakaa like a strong leader. Yeah.
Okay.
So you stand up against the people, and that is attractive for a leader. As a person who goes against the powers that be, the way the president did during Uhuru's time. So you find at the ground level, what people are saying is that yes, Papa Roma, we don't like him, ajasaidia sana, but hata nisipovotia Ford Kenya watashinda. So they just keep on voting. And I understand they had a document. Papa Roma and MC Musalia Mudavadi were very keen to have a written agreement to say that this is what we are going to have, this percentage of government and so on. But Rigiji, of course, ulikuwa unasema he wasn't wise enough here, alidhani ni gentleman's agreement, but ikamchemkia.
Alisema ati walikuwa nasikia vile Horizon anaongea anakoroga. Wakisikia vile wanasema
mabarabara
wanasahau kusign. Yeah.
So yeye aliona watu wanasign, akaona huyu si rafiki yangu, nikaza mimi na Isaac aone there's no need to have a contract. So but so at the ground level, watu wako, they're not really happy with it. See ati yako very popular vile people would think, I feel. But they feel like akona so much pull, even ati wasipovote. Ni kama hiyo yenye watu wanasema siwezi tupa kura ni vote run against Ford Kenya in Bungoma. Yes. But in terms of CS kutoka Bungoma or being a lawyer, umeona both of them have been lawyers.
Yeah.
Yet is there any level 6 in Western, level 6 hospital? There is no, the only level 6 hospitals ziko MTRH, which serves the whole of Western. I think Jaramogi has been elevated just after Handshake. Then you have KNH, Mama Lucy,
Madare,
and then you have
and KUTTRH.
Is the other one. So those are the things. Kwa manifesto ya UDA, President said he'll build 6 new level 6 hospitals. We've not seen even one. So
and we are on the 3rd. We're almost getting to.
Yeah, we are now going back to next year.
Okay. How is it on the other side?
I'd say, first of all, Adrian touched a bit on how health doesn't have any political goodwill at the moment. And from history, from reading about how other countries' health systems work, this is one of those sectors that really needs to have political goodwill so that you can have a functioning, not even the best healthcare system, but just a functioning healthcare system, a well-functioning, well-oiled machine, if I can call it that. So when you have this a government that is basically has already been, the slices of the cake have already been portioned out and everything. They say that health is only belongs to one sector, one community in a sense.
Yeah.
You kind of get the sense, or you kind of get the issue where you are locking out so many competent people. Yeah. We've had such great CEOs of other parastatals that you're kind of sure relatively
would perform. Yeah,
they will perform. If given the chance to run the healthcare system, they will perform. They will perform very well.
But they can't make it because shares.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't belong to the right shareholders, basically.
Yeah. They could even be in government, but shares was given somewhere else.
Exactly. That's the issue.
Yeah.
another thing, he mentioned how the community in Western now holds the shares, but working in the medical field, although I'm still young in my career as a medical professional, I can tell you for sure the amount of crazy and weird cases that we get, the medical cases that we get from that region, you can't compare to anything else. Almost all of the worst cases that I've seen by now are usually from, that region, because it's very, very underserved in terms of health.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about just Western?
Western and actually Western and Nyanza a bit.
Hey, Western Nyanza. Western region.
Western region.
I come from Nyanza, so I know.
Yes.
I know, Pale, no, we're not doing very well in terms of health. In fact, those hospitals, Nani alisema, Rezo alisema, if he could have, I feel like angefanya tu hiyo peke yake. Angefanya tu hiyo peke yake. Yes. Unaona? Like, the conversation today will be so different. Unaona? But sasa tumeendea affordable housing. Na sasa hiyo watu wanataka kupea nyumba, wako na mali wanalala, si ati hawana. Lakini wagonjwa hawana
hospitali pa kwenda.
You know how crazy it is, by the way, the new system, NHIF used to pay bills. I consider public hospital healthcare to be quite cheap in Kenya, comparatively.
Yeah.
Compare private and public. But you find a patient amekaa in the wards for 2 months, has accumulated a bill of 800K. Yeah, so they charge you for tests. Every test that's done, every glove that is used on a procedure on you, you are charged for it. So 800,000. Remember, average Kenyan is earning around 200
per year, yeah.
200 and something, 240,000 per year.
Per year.
So yes, our average GDP per capita is $2,000. So if you convert to 60,000, so it's around 20,000 per month. So that's the average Kenyan. Where will he or she get 800,000 to pay a bill one time? So we get a lot of patients whom we have to hold kwa hospitali, because of unpaid bills.
We actually call them discharge-ins.
Discharge-ins.
They stay in the hospital.
They've been discharged, but they still have to stay in.
So
it's crazy.
And this new SHA system, collect more money than NHIF. Yeah, but now the benefits are less. Yeah, because
they collect more, but the benefits are less.
Which is an irony, because you see, if Isaac, you have a salary, say unakata 3%. Everyone used to pay NHIF maybe 500 to 1,500, and if you get any problem, it will pay. So if you get that 800K bill, SHA will probably pay maybe 20K. There's even a guy who was telling me,
assuming you earn 100K, how much are you paying to SHA?
You're paying 3K a month. Yes. So you can imagine the guys, kuna hao CEOs when you earn hata 20-30 million per month, SHA yenye wanalipa lazima ni crazy.
It must be
300,000 SHA.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and touching on whatever he was talking about, I think mahali tumefika as a country, like you see, like the way every other government ikishaingia into place, ati now you can change the whole like sector ati based on whatever you unakuja sasa kama venye umesema, like it's given to Ford. I don't know any department of health that has Ford in it. So like it's very concerning that you can, like, simply because of maintaining the political relationships and whatever, you have to, you can place those people in such positions and it will affect millions. So you see, like, the transition from NHIF to SHIF, it may affect like so many people, and like no one is talking about it. And also another thing he talked about, the flower girls, as they said. I think there's this thing about I think it has been talked about in countries like in US, like a failing system, una put like a woman there so that inaonyesha like a woman is incompetent.
It happens like that.
Yeah, it happens. It actually happens. And I think the problem kwanza
is that why they put Kamala?
Probably there are people who say that. Yeah, and also kwa I think hapa kwa nini, okay, another thing pia, you see Nakuminsha like was there, I think it used to bug a lot of people because she wasn't as qualified. And now I think my problem was when the new cabinet secretary came in. Yes, she's a doctor, but like when you affiliate yourself with the government and like those political like seats, I didn't see, I think nilikuwa naambia watu itakuwa even much worse because she actually understands what is the problem in the sector, but she won't do anything about it because she's just there to protect their interests. Yeah.
And just one thing maybe to you, Ruth.
Yeah.
You are Gen Z.
Yeah.
And just the other day, you Gen Z walileta noma.
Sana.
Wakisema mambo ya finance bill and all that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe somewhere to Kenya, there's still that, there's still that feeling, there's still that. Because I feel young people are trying to bring a difference, trying to create change. Now, you as a young person, now in the medical field, you're seeing all these problems,
Yeah.
Tell me, as a Gen Z, what is the let's say the youth? What role do they play in politics right now?
Yeah.
Because we've determined that politics influences all this.
Yeah.
What role are they playing in politics now? And what role do you think they should be playing? Because I think if we are in a position to create change, na vitu kama hizi zinatusumbua, and like now you understand it.
Yeah.
Where do we start from?
I think the youth, I think last year they were almost realizing like how powerful they were until ikafika like hapo mwisho, and then they kind of derailed the movement, and now like things kind of went back to how they were, but obviously kuna that kind of activism because siku hizi unaonanga like in groups, like you'll see people are defiant. Ukiona mtu anafinyiliwa somewhere, you see like people start like kutetea mtu, vitu kama hizo. But okay, I think the main problem ilikuwa like that derailing, na pia the government ilikuja like kufinyilia like the youth pia, because like some of the things kama nakumbuka the ID registration thing, of which nimeona wamerectify like a few days ago, like voter, like people don't realize that they can actually change. Wanasema hizo vitu like zisha setiwa like already, we know hata sisi tunaenda like to do like the final thing, but they've already like decided, and that actually that's not it. They actually have a lot of power. But when you talk to like our age mates nini, okay, kitambo, like before all these things happened, people were very like unconcerned, like like hawako wanajisumbua sana about politics, because like haiko inawasumbua, like haiko inawafikia, but right now I think it is affecting everyone now. Unajua kitambo ilikuwa like mostly the lower class, at least sasa the middle class wenye ilianza pia kufinyiliwa, wakaona
so wanadu because mimi naona tuka smell naona wengi ODM youth wing and try maybe could
okay. Unajua sai kuna a lot of distrust because now like okay, the people that are going, you don't know the intention clearly, because at first wanaka like wako so vibrant, wanawatetea nini, alafu the next minute wanakuja with all those think pieces that we have to engage these people. You have been engaged, you people even got into parliament. I'm not saying talks are bad and anything, but sometimes like if you actually want to, at the end of the day, you started from these people, like from the youth who kwanza like huko juu, and you have tried talking to these people, talking for how long will you have these talks? I think sometimes kind of I think most of us don't have integrity, and that's why you see these people like wanna move every other, like Caswell, I'm sorry to say, but you see like he's not like in very good books with people currently because of how it was just last year,
putting it nicely.
And then right now ashafika like to that side.
Caswell amesema tiange make change anywhere else, so
what change is he doing?
Because under ODM structures, anaona kama anaweza create change.
No, but you see, Caswell, it's an interesting case because unaona people didn't care who Caswell was. No one even knew he was Luo, actually, by the way, until he released. I remember that day, I was at work, and then I saw the statement plus the video, and he said, "If you don't want to continue with me, you can unfollow." And follow is the time.
He said that,
yeah. So, and then he went and said that we've gone on to vilify Raila Odinga, who is someone who can mentor him and is going to mentor him, and that's the structure. The structures of ODM, as you said, is where he can now actually make it. But I don't think so. You see, politics, I believe, is something that should be responsive to the needs of the people. And just another point on the side is that someone said that Kenyans, you said there's an integrity issue. I think culturally, kuna some issue, we are creating a society where people are not honest people.
Yeah.
And someone tweeted that people are not trying to solve problems. people just want to make enough money so that the problems don't affect them.
Yes. People
So-
want to get above the problem.
Yes. So
yes.
you see people like Casmuel, and I noticed this early on in the movement. Yeah, someone even said that there's this lady who was making food for docs, medics, and she said she invited Casmuel wanted to come, and then there was a lack of media coverage. Akasema hakushow up. So
Yeah.
so you realize that every time kulikuwa na cameras, he would be there. Then there was a whole story ya kujidact and everything.
Okay, fine. Just let me cut you in. So Kasmuel is doing that. What are we doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? She said that the Gen Z movement came, then it was distracted, right? So ikapoa.
Yes.
Now imepoa. Now what are you doing?
Unlike popular belief, I don't believe the Gen Z movement didn't achieve anything.
Okay.
I think that movement in itself, for example, unakumbuka our president used to be a tourist. Unaingia Twitter, unaona president to live for Russia's every day.
Yes.
Now, I believe the reason for that is that hakukuwa na local legitimacy, and so he tried to compensate by presenting himself as a Pan-African with the counter suits. So anakaa ni kama he has now, he's the guy speaking for Africa. He went and sat with Macron and he's telling him, we need to change the financial system to be more fair, so that we can have equal sharing and so on. But now when hiyo haiku work and he was exposed na Gen Z movement, unaona siku hizi anatulia sana huko. Anatulia sana. So I don't think it didn't achieve anything.
It did.
That's number one. And what are we doing? There have been guys that have come up and we think, they are good people. Guys like Kina Senator Okiya Omtata. I think he's doing really well.
He's doing really well.
So
he's running for president. Are you going to vote? Okay. Wacha ni interrupt kidogo. So tuko na presidential candidates. Tunataka kupiga kura na ukiona uwezi pigia mtu kura hapo, unaweka jina yako unajipigia kura. So umesema tuko na
Okiya Omtata na David Maraga.
Haya, tuko na Maraga number 2. Tuko na Rigi G. Sindo? Yes. Baba.
Whoever is backing, right?
Yes.
WSR. Sindo? Samoei.
Kasongo.
Samoei. Haya, tumeacha nani? Tuchukue nani? Wenyu wanaitwa nani? Ford Kenya? Nani?
Papa Roma.
Papa Roma is number 6.
Yes,
tunaweka wote.
Hypothetically.
Leo tunataka kuchagua the right president for Kenya, sindio? Papa Roma is number 6.
Yeah.
Tumewacha nani ANC Mudavadi number 7, sindio? Aya. Tuweke nani napo anaweza kazi? Well, so we have 7 presidential candidates now.
Na kama uwavoti ujivotie.
Kama uwavoti ujivotie.
Great name.
But wacha tuweke Onyonka. Raro Senator Onyonka huwa anaongea sana.
Umesahau Babu Owino.
Babu Owino anataka governor. Babu Owino anataka governor. So tusimweke hapo. Alafu
Small steps.
Sasa hivyo tu. Tuweke Kindiki juu ndio namba 2. Kuna 9.
Yes.
Hebu tupige.
Mimi hapo nawekea Senator Okiya Omtata.
Okiya Omtata.
Track record of defending human rights.
Yeah.
Respecter of the constitution.
Okay.
That alone itatupeleka mbali.
I think one of the biggest factors you have to look at for any country throughout history for any country to succeed, in a sense, you really have to have strong institutions. That's you don't need a visionary leader. You don't need someone who can think so far ahead. You don't need someone who will implement all the various big projects and all that kind of stuff. What you need is strong institutions, a country where rules and the law is followed, basically. That's a TLDR. Oh, sorry. Sisi ni watu wa Reddit sana tunatumia TLDR. In short, in summary,
yes.
you need somebody who follows the rules and the laws of the country. Yeah.
So unapea nani?
Who else?
Okiya.
Who else?
Okiya kuna mbili tayari.
Who else?
Hata mimi niko hapo kwa either Okiya ama Maraga. Those two.
I think watakuwa na coalition.
The perfect combination would be a coalition of the two guys. Mimi 6 AM niko kwa polling station.
Now, this is the views shared by a lot of young people who are feeling that watu kama Raila. I voted for Raila in 2022.
Okay.
Remember, even if you ask my classmates, I used to go to collab, niko hapo naambia guys bana. Now you remember this is in Eldoret. Guys, nili convince a few people. Actually, naambia guys please msivotie Ruto, tunajua hii maneno bana.
Itakuwa
I thought Raila and Azimio
but Ruto alikuwa joke campaign.
Wali carry the imaginations of Kenyans.
Of Kenyans.
Yes.
And
Now it wasn't a wide margin tena. Haikuwa
200,000 was it one? Yeah.
Sini Papa wa Roma
alileta hiyo kitu.
Yeah. So hiyo Bungoma, na Bungoma is a very interesting place because tena Bungoma watu wanasema ni Papa wa Roma alishindia Ruto kura, but I don't think so because 2017 Papa wa Roma was with NASA.
He's always been in NASA.
He's always been in NASA until aka split.
Yeah.
2017 Uhuru won in Bungoma. So wezi sema ati they followed, so they voted against Papa wa Roma.
History yake imenipea a very interesting point nimekumbuka. Sisi from where I come from. Tulikuwa we were in Azimio.
Yeah.
And we had Musalia and we had Papa Roma. Now umesema it was only 200,000 votes. I remember at that time when Papa Roma was leaving. Watu walikuwa wanasema aende you know
Raila ndio anashikilia.
Ufanya
Raila anashikilianga.
But it turns out he went, that side won, and now he got to government.
Yes.
Now we have also come. So you ask yourself, sasa
what is the function
of
doing an election?
So si heri basi to get return to win. Ama if we were all gonna make a difference, si kila mtu tu
muingie
wote at once, ndio.
Yeah. But what I feel is that tumekona Ruto. We've cornered him politically. And so he was so exposed that he had to reach out. Nakumbuka how I remember this particular interview on TV where he had a media. He used to do them. Unaona siku hizi ameacha. He used to call the guys to State House and they do interviews with him. After the Gen Z thing, he did one. The last one he ever did. So there's this one which he said, you know, and he used to use the same word. He went to Germany, to Europe, and then he used the same word, where the opposition and government, they come together and they form a mongrel. A form of a government which makes sense. You don't know whether the government is in opposition or the opposition is government. So the last thing we couldn't expect is that Ruto atafanya handshake na Raila. So you just imagine how cornered he had to be for him to swallow his words and his pride.
Yes.
For him to join Raila. And Raila says that mimi sikumtafuta yendi alinitafuta. But sometimes wewe unaona ship in a sink. Iko na mashimo. And then you now tie yourself to that ship.
Okay.
I think
Ruth, yes. What are you doing?
Okay, before like niseme, so amesema like about you know, like the handshake before venye alikuwa nakataa nini. I think it's a kind of a trend because we saw the same thing with Nani before, with Uhuru before, like akikataa hiyo maneno nini. And you know, like it I think venye, cause I didn't like know about venye nini mpaka venye walisalimiana like about this handshake. You know, like the previous one with Uhuru, like it was very there was a lot of tension hiyo time nini. So I think this time ilikuwa inakaa so I don't think sijika ni an original ama like ni from the same script like wamekuwa wakifanya throughout, like every time wanakuja like a new government nini, they must form this handshake nini. I think sometimes, okay, nilikuwa nafikiria probably we are being played for fools. These people kind of wanatengeneza that rivalry. Yes. Wana create such nini rivalry and then we are played for fools. Alafu like people hate each other huku kwa ground nini, like you'll find people are against this tribe nini. And then after that people are together, wanakuja wanasalimiana, wanasema oh, you know, it's for the peace. Alafu I think another thing that last years maandamano ilikuwa inaniwasha, it's when now Raila came to kind of own the movement. And we were like, aje sasa
aliambiwa akae home.
Like that thing was so like kama nini maandamano za Eldoret, like it was everyone who came to the streets.
It was crazy.
Watu walienda
huko wakachukua
watu walienda waka break into the place. But I think I have never seen such a protest. I don't think very very huge. There were like more than 5,000 people.
There were genuine people said walikuwa hired.
Hakuna mtu
hapana, it was everyone. Alafu ni from all walks of lives. Kuna like professionals, kuna hadi wa mama, kuna men, like ilikuwa an incorporation of everyone there.
Sikudhani hata LD kuna watu wengi hivyo.
Yeah.
Before we go back to who are you voting for before in the history?
For
President.
like president.
Oh, nice.
Situmesema Omkia.
What am I okay?
Okay.
Wonderful. But what are you doing? Are you telling even friends or telling?
Yes, obviously. Like kwanza the family, I think obviously kwa friends, like because we're in school like most of the time, so when you have these conversations every other time, you kind of have almost the same kind of thinking. I think now the gap is when going back home sasa.
Yeah.
That is where the problem now is.
I'm talking about
Walisema boomers ndio shida.
Timba XO. Sudi, you know, Sudi has become a charismatic politician. Ni mtu wa Orezo. But since you come from Eldoret, how is he over there? What wanamniaje?
Acha mi kwanza niseme, yeah, like I think he's not okay, like especially students from now our school. When that time I think like most of the people know how Moi venye walikuwa nafukuza the previous like
Yes.
see like akina Sudi were very active there, wakienda kumfukuza
Was it Ayiro?
Fairo. So like they chased away that guy and then they put their guy who has almost like collapsed like the entire school. Alafu sasa when you know like the nini venye vitu sasa ziliharibika nini like you couldn't find them as vocal as they were that time. Walikuwa wamenyamaza.
There was maandamano.
Kulikuwa na maandamano.
Some people were shot.
Actually walifunga shule hiyo time venye waliona like maandamano itakuwa like too much because obviously the students especially from main campus ni like wako in thousands. So they sent everyone home.
Kila mtu akaenda home, hostels wakafunga.
Okay.
So Sudi is a kind of a
kwa Moi University students hiyo history ya kusaidia to collapse the university has really tainted his name. But of course I know people who come from his constituency Kapsaret, so they like him.
Kapsaret anajaribu huko.
Yeah, they say anajenga nini kukiwa na matanga yote kwa constituency wanapata nini. Those small handouts which I think ancient, but watu wamekuwa wakisema shida ni boomers. Boomers ndio shida.
Boomers.
Ukipea hata mtu leso ataanza kusema sasa
anafurahi juu hiyo. But sasa unajua mimi naona like millennials and Gen Zs maybe generation X may feel like millennials and Gen Zs actually can win an election.
Yes,
they can.
18 million people in Kenya.
I have a big issue with some millennials anyway, because you find them, I don't know, is it they're too timid or
Yes.
Minta watatea. Let me tell you.
too afraid of
Minta watatea.
Tunaguza
Number one, nyinyi mmepata some mmepata some space where you can practice, you can speak your mind. As we came up, we are learning from these guys. They've shown us it has to be like this. It came from Nyayo, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then we had to sing praises for Nyayo and know that we have to respect the presidency irrespective. Sindo?
mkunywa maziwa.
But came akatuletea free primary education nini, and that we tried. But millennials, I think the thing is this. A lot of millennials try, but I just think wanakuanga mostly maybe kwa activism. Ama wanakuanga wao kwa TV tu wakisema ni mbaya sana but they don't go out. But right now I think even if you look at the Gen Z protest, a big number of that were millennials.
Definitely.
A big number.
We can't disagree.
A big
with
number of
Yeah,
millennials. Even the ones who are someone like Boniface Mwangi, sini millennial.
Yeah.
Hanifa,
Yes.
millennial. Morara, understand?
Morara unamcount kwa protest?
But then Morara mnampigia kura.
Please, don't start judging after this.
Najua Morara, people don't know his position. They don't know whether he's a mole.
Yeah, he is.
That has been
He's not
planted
clear.
by government.
He's not here.
Because again, you saw the video where he was in one of Ruto's campaigns, I think in somewhere in Kisii.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He was there during 2022 campaign. So
But wacha nimtetee pia hapo. You see, me, I'm a politician. Me, I ran for election and I'm still running. And growing up as a young budding leader, first of all, you have to have role models. So there's nothing wrong by you identifying with a particular role model. Alafu ukirealize maybe something is not right,
Yes.
that's when you ship out.
So
hii story ya kusemanga tu alipiga picha na huyu
I mean, we don't have an issue with somebody changing their mind.
Yeah.
We don't have an issue with
Change
that's actually it's actually a virtue in a sense.
Yeah.
That you're able to change your mind, you're able to change how you used to think.
yes.
But having your basically breaking away from the movement, the Gen Z, if I can call it that.
Yeah,
I know a lot of millennials are still involved, but breaking away from the Gen Z movement and trying to, assess how strong you are on your own. That seems like a stab in the back, in a sense.
Morara, I feel like there's been this talk about shipping out all KANU orphans. Yeah. So people like, Uhuru Kenyatta was a prodigy wa Moi, William Ruto, guys like even Musalia Mudavadi, even Kalonzo in a way, Raila Odinga. All of these KANU guys need to go. So if someone says they identify with Ruto, it's just a continuation of the KANU ideology and so on. And, we are getting to a place where it's dangerous, where free speech is being threatened. The markers of an aristocratic or autocratic regime.
Yes.
So I think the difference between Gen Zs and millennials is Gen Zs probably grew up with parents that are more lax. Like in our house, I can tell my dad that I don't probably think that's the way we should go. And he listens to me. He thinks my input is valid. Because I think the problem is that the environment in which millennials were probably raised under was almost parallel to the Moi system. So there's this almost sub-psychological, there was this fear that was, in the 90s, if you're growing up, there was always that talk of Moi, and you can't mention Moi. We
were taught to obey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Taught to respect.
Yes. Gen Zs believe you need to earn respect.
We used to go to the roadside with President Peter.
Yes.
Wanafunzi wote.
Yes.
No. Just right now there's nothing. Even President Ruto can come. Hakuna mtu atawala mwende mlaini.
Yes.
So as we were taught, like, President is coming.
Yes.
Simameni hapa. Small flags like this. Tutafanya hivi. Unaelewa. And that. But then another thing pia nazasema is penye tumefika going forward. What is the role of youth? That's what I was saying. What are you doing? That's what I was bringing. What are you doing? What are you doing? What is the role of youth? Because hatujisema ati mobilization tumeshindwa. Hatujisema ati decision making tumeshindwa. What is the role of youth? Then that takes me to campus, politics. Because if you look at leaders tuko nao sai.
Yes.
Ni walikuwa student leaders.
Yes.
Babu Wino is the last one. Au mnaona wote, even if you look at Baba's main, squad.
Yes.
Wale watu
James
Orengo, what? Those are student leaders.
Kitui.
Mkisa Kitui. Mbona sahi kuna difference? Mbona you guys, is there anyone of you involved in maybe like student politics?
I mean, I think I can speak on that a bit. So there's a phenomenon that usually comes up where you have somebody that will be a good leader, but they're more, if I can call it, a technocrat in a sense. They're not really political.
Okay.
If we had the example of, if you follow the model of Singapore, I know we call Kenya the Singapore of Africa, but for them, they really do get technocrats in powerful positions, powerful ministries and all that.
Yeah.
So what happens in campus is you have a technocrat, let's just give them that moniker, and then they see that they're going to run against a good politician.
A real politician. But in campus?
In campus.
Okay, yes. So we have someone who wants to be a student leader, but he's more of a technocrat kind of guy.
Yes, okay. Yes. So they see that, unajua utaangalia ground venye iko unaona, hapa hivi, there's no point in, because technocrats really don't like to be involved in politics. It's too messy, it's too dirty. Okay. It's too much of a hassle for that time. Yeah. And if you're busy with schoolwork, you're just like, no, this is not good for me.
For anybody who's watching us today, we want to really, one thing that we can use the technology right now to at least speak and speak our mind. And people go to social media always to troll people. Unaona kimeka social media small thing unaenda kutrolliwa, unaona?
Yeah.
Mbona kitu kama hii, a conversation kama hii, people want to go to the comment section, unaona? Waende waseme their views pale, because what we do at Politrix here is we try and analyze, the political situation in that, as an individual, unaona? you as a young leader, you as a young person, unaonaje? Unaona si ati tujigroup kama Gen Z, tujigroup kama millennials, tujigroup kama this tribe ama that tribe ama that tribe. Individualism, unaona. And we try to get, like now you guys, thank you so much for coming and giving your views, unaona. Because now we get it now, like now in the medical field, ndio kuna strike imeitwa sai
KMPDU.
Yeah, they're gonna what was the date?
It's scheduled for May 9th. May 9th,
Yeah, but people don't know that there's an political aspect to that. And it is so good that you guys being here. Probably you're going to face those challenges. Nyimda kona strike which year? Unajua? You're lazima mu strike pia.
Yes. I think 27, 28. Thereabouts.
27 hapo mtakuwa strike ndio.
Yes.
So umeanza. So like at least mmeona like your input really affects even your profession.
Yeah.
It affects like, every little thing. Here we're going to give a platform to people just come and speak their mind. Hapo kwa student leaders, we also have a couple of student leaders we're going to have a session with just to know mbona wameshindwa like to catch up to the old zone boys.
But sasa, the rules of the game were changed. Unaona, during Uhuru's time, he noticed that campus politics has, a pull to it. And so there was a University Amendment Act 2016 which changed the structure of how voting happens in uni. So usually it used to be a popular vote just like presidential. They changed it to a college system where delegates are the people who decide. So it's a more esoteric level of people that are picking leaders. So it has changed the dynamics by the unaona kitambo you would get this very, very activist people, people who are, an example in our school, they'd pull people and those are the ones who would get elected. But now with the college system, it's more about how can you, talk to the delegates and how are you aligned. There's people who even go as far as, taking the delegates and sort of kidnapping them and putting them in a place and then paying them so that they vote a particular way.
Yeah.
So the rules of the game were changed. And so that's why you don't probably see this. Because like Babu Wino used to carry UN students wanaenda Embakasi. Yeah.
I used to say, but we never used to kidnap his opponent. Was it true? But now, what you're saying that was done, was it by default or by design? Do you think it was deliberate?
It was
Yeah,
by
it was by
design, yes.
design. You see, like nowadays, you see, like the way, you see, like the leaders, like that were elected Kitambo, if they went to like come a national table to talk about grievances that people in the institutions, they used to like talk like the views of the people now.
Yes.
But nowadays, hata hujui kama kuna meeting or anything, you just hear kama, I think the last one I had ilikuwa ile ya new funding model.
Yes.
Na waliitwa wakaenda waka-approve hizo vitu zote walilipwa. You see, like now, and that is not a person like we voted for directly. So like they're just there.
Micromanaging university policies.
Yeah.
So you guys need to do something about that.
So tunaweza petition tuseme wa declare your act and
Yeah.
At least
you petition.
At least if there's one thing we can come up with from this talk is hata kama ni petition to
Yes.
so that
Yeah. You asked also what are we doing? I think tunangoja IBC ikuwe reconstituted. We know some candidates for chairperson of the IBC.
Okay.
After reconstitution, they can now register voters.
Okay.
Our population, we are talking about the youth up to 35, 18 million people.
Yeah.
If you carry that, you win the election. 18 and yeah.
Which
So-
means even if you're running for president and they backed you.
Yes, just alone.
be our
Just
next-
that,
you'd be our
that,
next
dem-
president.
that demographic alone. So that's why you're seeing realignments. Yeah, there was a slight, you saw in Uhuru and Ruto were campaigning in 2013, they sort of realized that there was a huge demographic. These guys did thorough groundwork. I remember they used Cambridge Analytica to profile. Really, I think the first use of like, analytics and stuff in elections in Kenya was that election. And they were able to profile and see young people a lot. And that's why they were talking about hustler and trying to look cool, wearing this
Hustler.
jacket. We are going to buy laptops and so on. Okay. So there was that. But now it's more pertinent and exigent now because the youth have now woken up. Ruth said that before 2020, last year, the protests, people never used to care about politics. You'd actually go to someone your age, 22, 21 years, try talking about politics. It looked, ilikuwa inakaa like something uncool or something that you shouldn't talk about, like money, that you shouldn't talk about at that place. But now it's no longer kosher. To talk about. People talk about it all the time. In fact, I think that's what we talk about most of the time.
Now.
Okay.
And of course, because of the economic situation and everything. But I think the next election is going to be determined by the young people.
Yeah. I think our time is almost running out. But I just wanted maybe one thing to be clear that as young people, the changes we actually enjoy, the freedoms we enjoy, even multi-party, politics was fought about by the leaders we have now, but they were in campus and they were young.
Yes.
Miguna, the Muites, the world. And therefore, I think the role you guys play in politics is still very clear, very strong. And the faster, the sooner you guys realize that, the better. We're having some student leaders also. We'll try and understand why it's a problem, why they can't make a change. But this platform of ours is for anybody, even the leaders. We're going to have them here. We just want to make sure we get the individual contribution, an opinion to the political scenario. What's happening?
Yes.
How do we take back our country into the right track? So I think Santina, just final remarks, please.
I think many youth are kind of realizing that politicians are stealing their future, in a sense. Like, I've wasted so many years due to all the problems with Moi, all the problems with the healthcare field in general. I'm seeing my seniors, the people who are just ahead of me, going through quite a lot after working so hard all of their lives. And all I can say is I really hope the youth makes a change in the next coming elections. I'm sure we are going to see such a big difference. It might not change the trajectory of Kenyan politics immediately, but we are going to see some change in the future, definitely.
What I'd love to tell people is first, voter registration. Please, like wavote wachukue kura na wavote. Na pia the other thing ni wasisahau like what the problems zenye tumepitia. As Alvin amesema, like we've wasted our youth sana. Like this is the time we should like be creating like the base of our entire lives. But now if we are fighting each and every day like you can't even survive. So like aitakuwa na like you won't like your quality of life itakuwa kind of low. So it's basically up to us now. Wasisahau hizi mashida zote zenye tumepitia, ati mtu anze kufanya changes in the last year na amekuwa na an entire like 5 years of doing all this, and then wanze kusema he's the person for us.
I think the good thing about our generation is what we work receipts. So people pulled up tweets the CS Deborah Baraza aki complained during her residency. Akisema the way this government, they're not paying us and we are working in the hospital. So what I'd say is really the youth have a powerful voice. I think that is something we became aware and cognizant of in the past year during the protests. I love seeing the activity when, for example, the Queen of Netherlands was supposed to come and Lafwatu wakatuma emails, and it actually made news in the Netherlands. There are so many ways we have access to so many tools that people didn't have. So it's not possible for the government to run an autocratic system in Kenya, because they don't have the infrastructure to do the surveillance at the level that would be required. So I feel like our voice is very powerful. We are the ones who can determine our future. People should stop this idea of I don't want to vote for the right candidate because I don't think they'll win anyway. So let me just vote for them. So
you should just vote for the
person that you want is right. And so if you think this is a candidate that carries your aspirations, then vote for them. And as Ruth said, let's register as voters. That's your voice.
Okay, we've come to the end of our episode today. Asanteni sana viewers. Please, we would like to take your views, your opinions. DM us on our social media handles. Come to the comment section. Tell us who you'd like to see here next time. It doesn't matter. Is it a leader? Is it anybody? Bora ni Mkenya. Tutamleta hapa and we'll have this discussion because we are going to change Kenya one person at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
3, 2, 1.
How bad is it?
I do not have one.
So, Kasmel is doing that. What are we doing? What are you doing? me I feel like millennials and Gen Zs actually can win an election.
Yes,
They can.
18 million people.